history never repeats. I tell myself before I go to sleep.
I'm joined in the studio by Karina Yelds from Brisbane Water Historical Society. Karina's the curator of Henry Kendall Cottage. Karina, tell us what arrived in the mail a few years ago that absolutely blew you all away.
Certainly did. A most wonderful package all the way from Kettering in Tasmania, from Ken. And Ken had been kind enough to write to Brisbane Water Historical Society, 10, 12 years previously, to explain that he was putting together his memoirs and that he would love to be able to get them completed and send them to us. So we were, of course, quite pleased to write back and say good luck with that, and we'll look forward to that. And indeed, there we were with this beautiful package, and not just handwritten memoirs, well over 200 pages, but also the most beautifully and cleverly hand-drawn artworks depicting life as it was on Brisbane Water.
And I have a few of those in my hand, and they are a beautiful, fine ink drawings of the area. So the one I've got in my hand at the moment, beach netting at Terrigal around 1943. There's another one from Coolywong in the early 1930s. And we actually have Ken on the line. Kendall Holbert, tell us about those early days on the Central Coast, especially your time around Brisbane Water.
We went to live on Pelican Island because before then we lived at Coolywong, but times were hard and we couldn't pay the rent, so we went to live on Pelican Island, and there was nothing on Pelican Island. In fact, it was completely inundated with tidal waters. And I remember the first night we went to live there. It was my brother Bob and myself and mother and father. And my father had built a kind of shelter of second-hand corrugated iron, and it was just an earth floor with some bags on it. My father was an oyster farmer, as were his father and grandfather in Port Stephens. But this is back on Pelican, and I remember our first night there. My brother and I had no bed except to sleep on the floor, which was earth. And when we woke the next morning, there was little black mud crabs crawling around in our bedding.
Oh, no, that's amazing. There's a beautiful sketch of your home on Pelican Island because, of course, no one lives there anymore. Do you have fond memories of that time?
I thought it'd be a resort there or something.
No, just for pelicans now, Ken. It sounds like every young boy's dream, Ken. Tell us what life was like on the water, because there's beautiful sketches of the little ketch that you used to get about in, on your own by the looks, with no development around the area. That's all just beautiful bushland. Around the edges of Brisbane Water, there were no homes.
No, nobody wanted to live there. It came the day when we moved to St Hubert's Island.
And what was that like then?
Well, it was this mansion of a house, the old wooden bungalow on the end.
And when did you have time to do your lovely sketches? Is it something you've always done?
Yes. I don't think I got interested in them in Pelican because there was no room for that. I mean, we had my brother Bob and younger brother Jeff, who had joined us then. He'd stayed back in Tea Gardens with Grandma for a while, where we got settled, and that. So there were three of us, and we just slept in one bed in one room, and which was also kitchen, and the other room were our parents, and that was that. We just ran our up the end of Pelican Island were our oyster leases, and my brothers and I would work on the oyster lease for only 9 years old or something, barefooted, working on an oyster lease, was working in a field filled with broken glass or something.
Wouldn't be allowed these days, would it?
Oh, cuts and bruises, and we would fight one another and punch one another and all that. But anyhow, we survived.
You grew up tough. All right, look, Ken, we really appreciate your time. I know that the Historical Society is so grateful for your drawings and your memoirs, so thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
So, Karina, what an amazing man.
I'm thrilled, so thrilled for a chance to be able to speak to Ken.
And what are you going to be doing with his footprints, the drawings and the memoirs?
Again, we had the most wonderful exhibition the summer after we received the memoirs. I spoke to Kendall to see if he was comfortable with the fact that we hope to exhibit excerpts of the memoirs and those beautiful, beautiful hand-drawn pictures. He was delighted to know that that might be the case. He tells me that he's had people approach him over the years to suggest perhaps a movie could be made. What a concept that would be. Having said that, I really feel that the Footprints memoirs are one of the most outstanding pieces of history within this district, particularly during the Great Depression and the early to mid-40s or just at the end of the Second World War there. It's probably one of the most significant pieces of our archive. And having talked about it like this today, it makes me think perhaps we better re-exhibit.
We really appreciate, Karina, you bringing this story
it's
to
a
our
very
attention.
Special one. I'm delighted.
And we'll back it up with photos on our Facebook page because I think it's important that we see the sketches as well. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. You're going to be a regular guest on our program, we hope. And we look forward to catching up with you next time on our History Spot.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Caroline. It's great.
History never repeats. I tell myself before I go to sleep. Don't say